Born in Texas, the background of a praying man and woman, prophets, spiritualists, healers, and more, I came. Each of these people imparted a gift in me while still in the womb. They are and were part of my spiritual team, who were brought into this dimension to fortify my journey upon transitioning and become part of my team of guides. I remember before being conceived walking around, watching children playing between two shotgun houses in the dirt. I remember walking or gliding over to the house and watching. I became from the union of my mom and dad that I call today. They purchased land that was called a potter's field, a graveyard at one time, where they hung many and buried. They purchased a home and added it to that land, and guess what? I was born shortly after my grandmother had passed. They said I had her ways, looks, attitude, and when it comes to defending children, I got the opportunity to see a picture of her. And truly, it's the truth. She and I are identical. Without thinking of my next choice of words, which may find a few of you, you know, feeling a little bit like this is maybe sacrilege or something like that. I was born filled with the Holy Ghost from childhood. I never cared about wearing short dresses because they made me feel uncomfortable. They named me the Miracle Child due to being the first child of the bloodline between my dad and my mom to live past the age of 4. My mom's and my dad's blood seemed like it was always opposing one another. What I didn't speak earlier was that those that imparted the gifts in me prior to my birth, I was also ordained and anointed in the room. That was my first ordination. So impartation happens when you are being elevated or called to do a service for the Most High. At 4 years old, the gifts became stronger. I could command things without uttering a word. I spoke in Spanish to my mother, which scared her so much she put me outside. I remember she had me to sit outside on the back porch on the concrete steps that we had. And I was facing the little shed that we had that we kept our water pumping in. The house I lived in had a lot of paranoid activity. Doors would close and slam. Women would be crying on the front porch. You would also hear a group of people laughing and coming to the porch. And sometimes you could actually hear them when they step on the porch, like they just coming back from having a good time. But when you looked, there was nobody there. So, from there, let's talk about the other activities. Let's talk about those that would come and stand on the side of my bed, around the bed. There would be 3 different individuals. The first ones that would come were men. They would stand at the foot of the bed and on each side of the bed and just stand there all night long with no head. One of them, one of them had on a all dark, which I could not see, and the other 2 had on a white uniform that had the black stripes across it. And as I got older, I understood that that was a prison uniform. So none of them had a head. The last person I saw was a woman, white hair, a white body, and she was clothed in soft raiment that looked like it was flowing. And she hovered over the bed. She didn't come over the top, she was just over on the side, and she stayed there. My brothers, my brothers was able to rest, but I was very uncomfortable. I later learned that my mother was afraid, but she never let on. She would stay on the side of the bed and talk to me, or just stay there until I fall asleep. And she would be standing right next to one. The one that she would stand by, he got to the place where he started standing over the top of my bed. So here's my thing. I take that as if this was the beginning of the getting me ready for my spirituality and not understanding that as me being a child, I did not come here with a manual. I did not have anybody to guide me. Therefore, I didn't know what was going on. But things began to happen after that. Let's talk about the paranoia. Paranormal. So after that, dishes began to break in the kitchen. You would hear a woman screaming. I mean, screaming and study breaking dishes here and there. And it was like just went on a long time. Each time it happened, the family would just either sit quiet or they just go on and as if nothing is happening. Well, me being a little child and being the person I am, I spoke to my dad and I said, someone's in the kitchen. I said, they breaking dishes. And I told him, I said, you gonna go see who it is? And he said, no, you go see. Well, I had a lot of faith in my dad, right? I saw my dad as a protector of the whole family, not just me, but the whole family. So he backed down and he said, you go see. I said, okay. I ran in that kitchen and I looked around. The kitchen was clean, pristine clean. I looked in, there was no dishes broken, everything was in place. I walked over to the attic because we had an attic. My dad would keep the attic door open with the stairs down, and and there was a light, a pull, you could pull a switch, and there was nobody. So I went back and told him there's nobody in the kitchen, right? I take it that those people probably was angry because here it is that they stuck between two dimensions and they really wanted to leave, but here it is they're dealing with a child that don't know what to do. At that time, I did not know what to do, okay, for them. But they could also be in anger because their life was cut short. And remember, that property was a graveyard prior to them, my parents buying it. So is it possible that it was waiting for the chosen one, for me, to wake up? And maybe this was part of it in order for me to wake up to being able to hear in the spiritual realm. I can believe that.